Hey VC, how's it going? Right, okay, this is a vinyl finds video. Yesterday, I went to a warehouse digging for records. Now, some of you may have seen Brum Reseller, John, his video, where he recently went to a house that was in the process of being cleared. The chap had passed away. Unfortunately, he was clearly ill because he was a hoarder and he just collected everything. You know, we're talking about 10, 12,000 records, which were just everywhere in the house. It was a total mess. Newspapers, books. Yeah, I mean, I'll perhaps add John's video in the comments so you can watch it if you're interested. But from a collector's point of view, this is really interesting because the guy was clearing the house. He was taking everything out, moving it to a warehouse where all these records are being sorted. Now, these are records that haven't been touched, that haven't been played in decades. I should imagine he's buying these records over the last 40, 50 years, many of them from charity shops. So if you found yourself in a charity shop unable to find records, it's probably because this guy bought them all before you, you know. So, but yeah, fantastic. From a collector's point of view, it's fantastic. So I turned up there yesterday, loads of singles, loads of LPs. Many of the LPs have already been priced, and what they've done, they priced up some of them, and many of them were just going out for £1 each. Now, there were these cages, which I think you could fit, they're about 5 foot high, so you could get 4 stacks, if you lay the records flat, stacks of records in each cage. And I think there were probably, I know, 6 or 7 cages, so we're talking thousands of records all for £1. So I'm going to start off with those, right, because I bought some records for £1 and I paid up for others, so the records are going to get progressively more expensive as I go through the video. Right, so these are all stuff that I picked out one of the cages. I only emptied 2/3 of one cage, so this goes to show just the volume of records that are there. And I think I had about 35 records out of that, you know, all those hundreds. So there's a lot of stuff in there, a lot of country music. I could have done with Headley there to perhaps tell me what was good and what was bad, but I just didn't know enough, so I didn't want to walk away with, you know, hundreds of country records which were, you know, whatever. Right, so starting off with this, so Sinatra at the Stands, arranged by Quincy Jones, featuring the Count Basie Orchestra, of course. An absolutely fantastic live record. I already have a copy of this, but this is a much nicer UK pressing than mine. So there you go, that's the first one. Same again, a record I've already got. One of the greatest records of all time. Dusty Springfield with Dusty in Memphis, came out in '69, of course. This is the UK sleeve, obviously the pressing on Philips. In America, it's got a different cover. It came out in Atlantic. Now, a great sounding record. The reason why I picked this up is because I think this copy is better than mine, but for £1, you can't argue. A couple of records on Lee Hazelwood Industries. First up, Lee Hazelwood himself with Trouble is a Lonesome Town. Yeah, great record. Once again, the record's in fantastic condition, but the sleeve's got a bit of wear. You know, it's got the record comes out the inside there, you know, it's one of the old school sleeves. But yeah, very nice. And a record also on the same label, but I've never seen this before. I'm really interested in this one. So just to say, well, most of these records I've played 1 or 2 tracks from. So when I got back last night, I've just had a little taster of each record. I haven't played anything in full yet, and I've been doing the same again this morning. So I'll listen to them in full over next week or so. But this is one that I haven't spun yet. This is Sanford Clarke, Return of the Four on Lee Hazelwood Industries. Really quite interested to hear that one because it's a record that I've never seen. But yeah, very cool. A little bit of country. I did buy a couple of country records, both by Guy Clark. So this is Old Friends. I think this is late 80s or early 90s. I have this one on CD actually, but that's a nice record. But the one Guy Clark album that I've never owned, and it's one that everybody talks about in the VC, Old Number One. This is a nice original pressing from the mid-70s. I think 74, 75 this record came out. Yes, so I've only played the first track off this, but I'll be listening to that in full later. I say a nice original pressing, very cool. Once again for £1, nice bit of Bill Withers making music. Can't go wrong with Bill Withers. I think I've already got that, but that's fine. The soundtrack to the Ipcress File. So this is a fantastic soundtrack, obviously done by John Barry. Michael Caine film, of course. Probably the second best Michael Caine film. The first has got to be Get Carter, closely followed by the Ipcress File. But yeah, a wonderful score by John Barry. Once again, the record is in fantastic condition. Bit of wear to the sleeve, but you can cope with that. This is quite interesting. This is one that I haven't played yet, 'cause it's still sealed. This is Ronnie Hawkins with The Lady from Baltimore. Now, Ronnie Hawkins, I always associate him with the Last Waltz and the band. Obviously, the band supported him in the early 60s. They were his backing band. But this is him in the very late 60s, and it's a very different Ronnie Hawkins, because I always associate him, well, think of him being a larger-than-life character, but this is him being all subdued and serious, doing lots of singer-songwriter stuff, such as Lady from Baltimore, Long Black Veil, Black Sheep Boy, Reason to Believe, obviously plenty of Tim Harding tunes in there, Early Morning Rain by Gordon Lightfoot. Yeah, so that'll be quite an interesting listen, I think. That's cool. Right, just a couple more from the pound lot on the show. This is the Red Crayola with the Familiar Ugly. So this is a psych record, a psychedelic record from the late 60s, albeit this is a late 70s pressing. I don't know anything about this, and I haven't sampled this one at all yet. It's clearly sort of 60s psych. Not necessarily going to be my thing, probably one that I'll sell, but yeah, looked interesting. But the pick of the bunch, without doubt, a copy of Scott 4. I already have this, but this is definitely an upgrade on my copy. A slight bit of wear to the sleeve, gatefold sleeve, of course. The record on Phillips, sounds fantastic. Once again, looks totally unplayed, so great stuff. Just one more from the pound pile. This is Brian Prothero with Pinball. The only reason why I picked this up is because Paul Weller has recently put out a covers record, and Pinball, the title track, is one of the tracks that he's covered. Now, I've never heard it before. I've only heard the Weller version recently, so I'm quite interested to hear that track done by, Brian Prothero, and the rest of the album as well. So there you go. So I'll perhaps show a little bit of footage from the warehouse now. William Bell, we're now onto the £3 records. So William Bell with Relating, mid-70s soul, 75, 76. Obviously on Stax Records, William Bell, one of the great soul vocalists. He, if you're going to compile a list of the great soul songs, his song, I Forgot to Be Your Lover, has got to be on that list. It's absolutely perfect. Now, this is a little bit later, say mid-70s, but a lovely record. I knew this already, but obviously featuring Booker T's, MG's rhythm section with Al Jackson and Duck Dunn. The Memphis Horns, yeah, what you expect from Stax. Just great Southern soul. Very cool. A record that I already had, but I'm not going to leave it behind for £3. This is Shaft in Africa, the soundtrack to the third Shaft film. All of the Shaft soundtracks are great, but this is definitely my favourite. Score done by Johnny Pate, who worked with Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions, of course. He did the score and the arrangement for Superfly, for example, for the Superfly soundtrack. But yeah, this is very cool. It features a Four Tops with their tune "Are You Man Enough?" A nice bit of mid-70s blaxploitation. But yeah, very cool, and a great sleeve as well. So for £3, can't argue with that. Now we're on to an album now, which I bought just based on the cover alone because, yeah, I didn't have a clue what it was. So this was a £5. This is a band called Heads Together. The album's called Funky Stuff, albeit they don't look particularly funky in that picture. But I figured with the word funky, yeah, it can't be bad, can it? And it's basically just them doing sort of popular tunes from the day. So they cover Jet, Help Me Make It Through the Night, Nutbush, City Limits, Higher Ground. Yeah, I've had a little play of this. It's all right, you know. So it's exactly what you expected to do. So cool. Right, so this is a record I picked up for a friend, actually. This is Ravi Shankar with Four Raga Moods. Nice double LP. So I was having a conversation with a friend about Ravi Shankar recently, just a few days ago. And I think you'll appreciate that. So I say a nice double album, in great condition. And for a £5, I thought that's quite a nice thing, really. So very cool. Also a £5, a record that I've never heard. I've heard lots of records by Fairport Convention, but I've never heard Unhalf Bricking with this absolutely fantastic cover photo. But yeah, so this is a third pressing on Island Records. So it's Pink Rim, Pink Ring label. But yeah, it's in great condition, albeit it's got a little sticker mark on the top. But that aside, the record looks like it's barely been played, and it's got the original Island in her as well. So for a £5, that's cool. Right, so now we're on to the stuff that I was really after. So when I turned up, I'm looking for reggae. And I did pick up some reggae 45s, but when I was going through the boxes, there was no reggae at all. And I did say to the guy, look, you know, I'm specifically looking for reggae. And he said, well, I pulled it all out for myself, right? He said, but if you want to have a look through, if there's anything you want, you know, I'll price it up, and if you want it, you can have it. Okay. And he priced it up, and all the records, as you'd expect, as with everything else, are in great condition. Now, obviously, with reggae, you know, we often talk about records being reggae mint when they're absolutely beat because they've been played at parties. These are all in fantastic condition. So, first up, I've never seen this record before. This is Stay a Little Bit Longer by Delano Stewart on Palmer Records, on Trojan Records, albeit the label is on High Note there, and I think this record has never ever been played. It's absolutely pristine. Now, the record produced by Sonia Pottinger. It's just nice pop reggae. She's got a nice vocal, but yeah, I've never seen this record before. So and it's in fantastic condition. So that was very cool. A nice cheapie, Dennis Brown, Super Reggae and Soul Hits. That was only a £5, also on Trojan Records. But again, the record is absolutely pristine, as is the label. So for £5, you can't go wrong with that. Oh, just going away from reggae for a moment. A bit of Bo Diddley. So this is Bo Diddley as a gunslinger. And perhaps somebody can explain to me why that record came out in the UK on the Pi Jazz label. Whenever I see this label, it's always Kenny Ball Records. If you go to a car boot sale or a charity shop and you're going through boxes of records, there are always Kenny Ball Records on that label. So why on earth did Bo Diddley come out on Pi Jazz? Perhaps Madam Singh can tell me why. But yeah, record is in fantastic condition. A slight little bit of wear to the sleeve, but I mean, that was only, I don't know, £6-7 or something like that. Lovely copy. Back to the reggae. I've been playing loads of reggae compilations recently, those old Trojan or Palmer comps, and I've got a couple here. So this is on Palmer Records. Oh, bit of nudity. I should say that first of all. If you don't like nudity, look away now. Right, so this is Straighten Up, the first Straighten Up comp on Palmer, featuring the likes of the Mohawks doing Let It Be, Got to Get You Off My Mind by Shelterman, Straighten Up by the Maytones, of course, John Holt, Give Her All the Love. Yeah, great stuff. And what I love about these comps is that they sound fantastic. It doesn't matter if they have a few marks, albeit these are absolutely pristine, as with all the records. If you see these sort of comps when you're out and about, it doesn't matter if you've got a few marks on, pick them up because they're indestructible. They sound fantastic. And albeit I do have some of these tracks on 45, I'm never going to be in a situation where I find them all on 45. It's just too expensive. It's too much money. So I think I paid 20 quid for this. And that for me is an absolute steal. Beautiful stuff. This one was much cheaper. Moonlight Groover. This is on Trojan Records. Again, in just lovely condition. Record looks unplayed. When you see this about, this is one you do see quite regularly. It's the laminate's always dirty and grubby and the laminate's lifted. That's a lovely copy, and I think that cost me less than a tenner. One more comp, a gift from Palmer. Now this is a beautiful comp, obviously on Palmer Records. It's on their economy label, which, considering that reggae record labels are always so beautiful, the economy label is an absolute stinker. It's so dull and unattractive, but the record, the music is just wonderful. So on here, you've got the Meltones, Pat Kelly, Slim Smith with Everybody Needs Love. Oh man. Sock It to 'Em Soul Brother by Bill Moss. Strange by Dobby Dobson. A fantastic comp. Yep, so anything like that, you see them about, demand a few marks, pick them up. And finally, the record that, I don't know, this cost me 30 quid, I think. But this is The Auction by David Axelrod. Now, David Axelrod records, you just don't see. You don't see original pressings of David Axelrod records. This, I'd never heard before, and it's funky, it's jazzy, it's a little bit gospel in places, some lovely gospel vocals, but it's produced by David Axelrod with Cannonball Adderley. They had a great partnership in the late 60s, early 70s, and I've played this in full this morning. This is just beautiful. It's a brilliant record. And I don't know, for what, 30 quid or whatever pay for it, it's an absolute steal. So there you go. So it's a great day. I've got some 45s to show in a separate video. The chaps that were there who let me go along to pick through the records, lovely guys. I was there for 4 hours or whatever, so got chatting to them. Just a great day. I really enjoyed it, and it's just great looking at records, isn't it? It doesn't matter whether you're going to buy them or not. It's just great seeing stuff in great condition that you don't see every day, and that's what it was. I say there's a lot of country, there's a lot of early 60s stuff which I didn't really know much about, so I wasn't buying, but somebody will go in there and somebody will, that'll make their day, so fantastic. So there you go. That's me digging in a warehouse for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, however long it was. I'll perhaps play a little clip of this at the end. So there you go. Cheers for that.
That is you.